Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Today I'll be painting these two beautiful white Maltese dogs. This is a painting I do for my work colleague. She has ordered it from me, and apparently these dogs are always together. So that's why she wanted to keep both of them on one painting. I must admit, furry animals are a huge challenge for me. That's why I spent quite a lot of time sketching these dogs. Because this painting is made to order, I wanted to make sure that everything looks perfect. I started from darker values and shaded areas because I didn't want to lose my sketch. That was actually my priority, not to lose a sketch, because the dog, especially the one on the right, is very fluffy, so it was like painting a cotton ball. If I lost darker areas and if I lost my sketch, I would have no clue how to proceed with this one. Although both dogs are white, it's surprising how many different shades of brown, black, grey and even blue their fur has. And that is usually what makes a painting interesting. I use a lot of soft edges in this painting, so you can see me quite often reaching for the wet brush just to soften the edges. This is actually one of my most favorite techniques of painting in watercolor. Usually I paint wet on dry, which means I use wet paint on dry paper, but then I reach for that wet brush just to soften the edges. It gives me so much more control instead of just using wet on wet technique. And I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so that technique is super helpful for me. I remember when I was learning watercolor, I heard so many times about wet on wet technique and how beautiful and amazing it is for the soft edges. And I admit, for bigger areas and sometimes in the paintings it is quite helpful. But I think it's just not my cup of tea. You can see that both dogs start looking more alive now, as I added more dark into their eyes and noses. And as always, I have to mention that painting animals' eyes, noses and ears is my favorite part of the drawings. Now I'm adding some final touches and individual white hair, and for this purpose I'm using white gouache. Normally I keep pure white gouache until the very end of my paintings, and in the first stages when I use gouache I usually mix it with some colors like burnt sienna or burnt umber. However, this dog on the right hand side was so light that I used pure white straight out of the tube. Here you can see me adding a little bit more color to their tags, and for this purpose I'm using gouache, which is usually more pigmented than watercolor. So it is perfect to add that final pop of color into the painting. Just working on some final details on this red tag with surgeon's precision. It is amazing how steady your hand can get as you progress in drawing and painting. And just like this, here is the final piece. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Please share your favorite watercolor techniques with me. And thanks a lot for watching. Bye!